Hello, you. Welcome to another dev stream. Number 40. But I think that we missed a couple, so we might be 45. I'm not sure.
We're getting there.
Yeah, almost 50.
50 is going to be awesome.
It will?
Oh yeah, it's going to be awesome.
Definitely.
Can't wait for it.
Okay. Well, let's start. So first off, I need to say hi and an introduction. I'm Dave. Hello.
Stefan, we've met last week.
I'm Stefan, I'm the game designer.
Two for the price of one.
Yeah.
That's amazing.
Not the same.
Free. Okay, we have Bjorn on technical side of things. He's making sure that everything runs smoothly.
Audio is cracking, it says. Alright.
It's always that. It's always like that. Okay, and our mods today, I need to get the list. So we have Azau, Clyde, we have Murph, Peanuts, Sassy UK, and Suggestive. So welcome aboard. Thank you for being there. Okay, let's start. So, news and announcement, first part. As you just seen in all the photos, we were at PAX last weekend and it went well. Matt will be able to tell you a lot about the event, so I'm gonna let him talk to you about it next week when he's back on the Twitch. He couldn't be with us today because he is at South by Southwest preparing for where we could win an award there. That would be quite cool.
Which is also pretty exciting.
Yeah, it's exciting. So we'll see. So this is in the next few days that we're gonna know. PAX East went well. We won with the Starbreeze folks the best boot at PAX, which is pretty cool. People had a lot of fun with the PS4 build, which was quite solid. So that was cool.
Awesome.
People could try different mechanics that we have in game, like the weekend mechanic that we talked about last week. This is exciting as well. We'll talk about it later during the stream. Yeah, there was some amazing cosplay too. The raid was amazing. The Nurse 2, really, really cool. If you haven't seen it, try to find the picture somewhere on the net. And finally, as other news and announcement, since Paul is back, we now have winners for the Firecracker contest. Yay! So how it happened is that the team got all the different pictures that you guys have taken, and we voted for who would be the winner. So we have two winners that we'd like to show off today. Oh no, I closed the folder, Bjorn. I closed the folder. I don't have the names. Where is it? Will I have access? Let me check. Let me check. Okay.
This is entertaining.
Isn't it good?
Anything?
I think it's pretty awesome.
This is a thing we've received.
They've been asking about that. What is it?
Oh, I have it.
Asking what?
In the,
I have it.
About what?
About the table.
It's sausage. It's a table sausage.
Perfectly grilled.
Yeah.
Only on one side, though.
Well, they didn't know that.
Yeah, but it's. I want to show.
Man.
We're honest with them.
Giving our secrets. It's nice.
Okay,
I like that.
enough about the sausage. So I have the winners right here. So I have to say that winners will get some exclusive skin codes, and they will also receive this awesome new shirt that we have. This is the shirt that was
You're the best.
that was used at PAX actually by the crew. So you'll get a version of that shirt that doesn't say crew. That's only for us. So first winner is Dusk.
Ooh, congratulations.
So let's see that awesome firecracker image. It's pretty cool.
Excellent usage
Yeah,
of
it's like-
multiple things in the game.
Yeah,
That's awesome.
yeah, it's really cool. And the other winner is Terawatt.
Oh.
There's a party, but they don't know what's gonna happen to them.
Well, or Myers is like, hey, I have some beers. It's fine. You just want to party too.
Or you just can't see them.
Yeah, maybe. It's completely blinded.
Blind party.
Yeah, we had other really, really cool images. We just kept one for the Twitch. This is not a winner. It's an honorable mention. We lost the name, though, so this is a bit embarrassing. I can't say from who it is. We can transition.
Damn.
So honorable mention goes to you who did that one.
That is
It's
awesome.
pretty dramatic. And there you go.
I love it.
So I hope you had fun with this. I'll try and have all of the images available somewhere. That would be quite cool, so that you can look at all the different images that were submitted for the contest. All right, moving on. So we've released a patch earlier this week.
Yeah, we've released a patch on Monday or Tuesday. I can't remember.
And then another one.
It didn't go perfectly well as expected. We've pulled that patch back, and then we've repushed the patch with the fix a little later this week, yesterday more precisely. So let's go through the patch notes quickly. A little shorter than last week, but there's still some interesting issues we've integrated there. Most of the fixes were all related to borrow time, so basically a few edge cases or how different mechanics played with borrow time that we've addressed. And we also integrated English localization for all the Left 4 Dead content. We're currently right now working on integrating the actually localized version. We just did not want to go in localization before the information was out that we were actually doing this, so expect this to come your way shortly. So we fixed an issue causing the server to potentially crash when using an instant heal interaction add-on while borrow time was active. Fixed an issue with the borrow time timer not expiring when the player would walk into a bear trap. And we've also fixed some edge cases with the borrow time activation if the player would get attacked by a double damage hit, which is something like the chainsaw or the tier 3 Evil Within Michael Myers hit. Basically, we've all agreed together that the intent should be that when the player into a full health state gets hit with a double damage, he should lose a single health state, but then borrow time should activate to block the second one and prevent the player to go into dying, which should be the case right now.
I believe the text says it prevents from dying.
Correct.
So that's how we wanted it to end up as.
As mentioned, when we push this patch live, unfortunately there was a fairly frequent crash that would happen. Basically, anytime borrowed time would get activated in the game and the cooldown would expire. After that game would complete, half of the players would probably crash on the tally after disconnecting from the server. So we basically unpushed that patch back to 1.4.2, and we were able to actually fix it a day or two later by pushing back all the changes you see from the 1.4.2a and fixing the crash that was added with that patch.
Very cool.
Yay. That's it?
That's pretty much it.
Okay.
I like that.
Perfect. So on to game updates. So I'm trying something a little bit new today, just going through burning subjects, or actually what are we working on right now. So Steph is going to tell us what's going on with these subjects.
He's excited to see the smile.
Yeah, like, we can't wait. Bug fixes.
So right now we're not necessarily we're looking into fixing any critical things for the live aspect of the game. A lot of the team is focusing on internal stability and such. Obviously, if there's anything that we fix, we feel we can push live, we're going to do that. There are some things that we're looking into making better. We've mentioned last week that not necessarily being a bug fix, but changing the blood web rarities, for example, and how the perks are chosen at different levels is something we've looked at over the past week or so. We're currently testing a possibility in our internal build, and that's the kind of stuff that we're going to look to push live if there's a possibility for us to do that. As far as like general bug fixes, I think there's nothing especially important that I think we're looking into forcing live right now.
For now, as in this week.
As in a very, very short time period.
Yeah,
yes, exactly.
Okay. Perfect. Q, matchmaking and connection.
So that's a pretty big topic that's been recurring since we've released, obviously, but a little more present recently. With the patch that we mentioned just earlier, 1.4.2a, we've added some more information and analytics to help us track why some players are having a lot of difficulty finding a lobby and getting in a game.
That's awesome. So the longest long Survive with Friends group?
Yeah, exactly. Especially Survive with Friends is the first step we want to start with. We started iterating a bit with our QA team and the mods to get some games going and to look at the numbers. And what we've noticed is that when we've had a typical lobby where the moderators were a group of 4 survivors and they were searching for a game for about 3 minutes, and during those 3 minutes they actually attempted to join something like 40 different kitters. So it's definitely not a lack of kitters that's explaining why it's so difficult to get in the game right now. We're not exactly sure whether it's more a question of there's a lot of different survivors or groups trying to get in the same game at once, or there's just something in the flow right now that's not working well and preventing players from transitioning to that lobby. Or we're trying to pinpoint on exactly where the issue is, and we're going to keep iterating with the live build on that to track down the issue as much as we can. There's 1 to 2 persons right now on the floor looking actively into the issue, and we hope to improve that shortly, obviously. The sooner the better, but we're actively looking into that and making that better.
So last patch, some analytics went in, right?
Correct. We have received a little more info about the flow of things. I think we still need to add a little more. It's not necessarily clear right now what's causing the issue, but we'll get something out in the next couple of days probably to try and get more precision on that.
All right, so what were we talking about? Performance.
Yes.
But we're pretty much done with that, right? Yeah?
You might have missed part of it. I'm sorry. We
Yeah,
don't
I mean,
exactly know.
So we're looking into survive with friendly groups, long loading times, and we are gathering analytics.
We're looking into analytics for Survive with Friends and trying to pinpoint where the issue is. Once that's done specifically for Survive with Friends, we'll see if the issues we have also apply to solo queue, because there might be a common issue there. I think there are much worse experiences coming from Survive with Friends group, but there might be some embetterment we can do to
improve it
to solo queue survivors too.
Oh, wonderful.
I didn't actually mention this originally, but we're also, as mentioned, working on the backend to replace the current Steam matchmaking solution with our own matchmaking system. That's progressing pretty well. We're expecting to have something playable in our internal build in the next couple of weeks, and then it'll be a question of making sure it works well, it's stable enough, it can ramp up to support the number of players we have currently on the live environment, and then we'll be able to turn on the switch for the live environment for that.
These are great news. It's going to change a lot. Okay, next subject. Console. Because yes, part of another team actually is working on the console release of Dead by Daylight. If you didn't know, PS4 and Xbox One, Dead by Daylight is going there at some point.
As mentioned by Dave, we've had the console build available on the PAX floor last weekend. Things went fairly well overall, really. I think players were able to play the game on PS4. They really liked it. We're not exactly to the point where the product is complete yet, but we're all working in the general direction of getting that in a good place. The matchmaking changes are part of the things we need to complete in order to be able to finish the game on consoles. We're also working, as mentioned last week, there's a lot of changes coming in from the UI to respect the requirements for consoles. I don't know if we talked into the control scheme a bit
last week.
Last week, probably. So there's a lot of work done to facilitate menu manipulation and UX as far as outside the game is concerned, and we're also starting to work on the inside aspects of the game, where controlling a killer or survivor with a controller needs to feel good, basically. And the other points we're working on for consoles are mostly TRCs or technical requirements right now, where if you submit a game for certification to Xbox, to Sony or Microsoft, you need to respect a very, very long list of like a couple of hundreds of standards that you need to respect with all regards in relation to the game. So we're working on making sure we're covered on that end and making the changes to the game to respect that.
Yay. So going well. Customization. Damn, we forgot.
Oh yeah.
Damn.
That's unfortunate.
We wanted to show you a new one of the new Survivor head, but we forgot.
Things are progressing pretty well for that.
Yes.
We'll get you something next week, probably on stream. Let's try to not forget this time. We're almost done with the completion of our first outsourcing project, basically, with this. We're super happy about the results, and we're eager to get that in the game going. And now we're starting to think about the next steps for us for customization and to provide you guys with more options for survivors and killers alike.
Yeah. Game balance. Incoming changes on game balance. I guess you could talk to us a little bit about that.
For game balance?
Yeah, well, there was quite a couple of questions. We can go straight up to the Q&A, but we've talked about some of the killer balance changes that we wanted to do. Some perks would change, the hag, the nurse, the raid. Some changes are planned for this. So actually, the question is like, when is that going to get into a patch?
It's a loaded question. It's I think the answer is twofold. We're trying to do a lot of things. So we've talked about a lot of these things on the stream previously. Try to address things like face camping and traps on their hook, and making sure the hag is playable, making sure the nurse is balanced, and making sure all these things. And then there's all the idea of revisiting a lot of existing perks right now to either bring the lesser used ones to a more playable or more interesting state, and then to reduce the perks that are more used to a closer to the average, basically. There's quite a few of these changes that have already made it in the internal build that we have. I don't know if you want to run through a few of these changes. You might have talked about a few of them in the past.
For the ones for those killers, the three.
The ones we.
Well, we can wait until we get to these questions specifically if you want.
That works.
Let's get rid of these game update right now.
I like that.
And last but not least, new chapter. So we've said it before, we cannot show anything just yet, but a new chapter is also being worked on with some exciting new content within.
Awesome.
Yeah.
I'm excited for that.
Okay, so let's go to Q&A right now. So if you have questions, obviously you can post them in the chat. Our fantastic mods are gonna take some of them and put it somewhere safe where we can go and read them.
Chat is not the safe place.
It's not. No, but it's because for us it goes so fast that it's tough to see the relevant questions. And I also have some questions from Steam and some from Twitter, so I'm going to jump from all platforms. All right, first question off of Steam. Trollman is asking, can you comment on difference between killers and survivors collision box size? And do you consider reusing killer collision box as an option to get rid of looping in the game? So did we get that screenshot? We didn't.
We do not have the screenshot just yet, but McLean might have an answer for us in the chat.
Well,
or
let
he might hit us up
me ask
with an
online.
answer.
We wanted the screenshot to be able to show it to you.
Yes.
Let me ask Ben.
As a general thing, I think this is a big topic where like the whole character setup that we have in the game right now, the capsule, the size of the capsules, the fact that we're basically sharing the for the killer, we're sharing the first person and the third person model and animations and all that stuff is fairly limiting to us, but it's something we have started. We basically are in the same setup from the get-go since when we started this project, and never actually took the time to revisit this, and it's certainly something we could revisit at some point.
Louis was asking if we'd like a screenshot.
Oh, Ben is cooking this up, so we'll get it.
Who
soon.
knows who will be faster? It's a race.
Wait, I just have to tell him. Actually, Bjorn, can you send a link to Louis?
Yes,
Perfect.
Louis, we are alive.
Yes, we sure are. Okay, next
We
question.
don't live here.
From Twitter, Jen56, I forgot my number, 004, is asking, I'd love to know when you try to make player-shaped hitbox, if that's even possible. So I'm guessing hitboxes that, it goes with the previous question, hitboxes that are really tight on characters. So is that possible? Is that a thing? Are we going to do this?
It really ties into the answer to the previous question. It is something that's certainly doable. It's not something we've really ventured into. We're not necessarily turning that down as an option. We're probably going to attempt to do it if we feel like it's going to solve some of the problems we have in the game, or it's going to allow us to do things we can't do right now. So depending on future needs or future game balance changes we want to do, this is something we could revisit for sure.
That's not what I want.
They're so technical. Numbers.
So in the meantime, Itch Mag says, where can I get
The shirt. Can our players get access to the shirt?
Well, if you won the firecracker contest, you'll get one. And then I think that these were sold at PAX. So I'm pretty sure that once our merch store is open, these shirts will be on that store. Okay,
That'd be
still
really
looking
cool.
for that screenshot. So as soon as we have it, I'm gonna update you on it.
I'd
So
love to see our fans representing.
yeah,
Nice.
absolutely. I want to see more of this shirt in the street. Let's take a question from Twitch. If I can find it. All right. Deadly Vanitas is asking, pallet looping. Can we discuss this? Obviously, survivors use the bigger hitbox for their advantage. Please revert the pallet change from September, so survivors should not risk throwing it down late. So yes, we can talk about pallet looping. It's one of the burning subjects, and it's something that we are looking into. So yes, are we doing something about them? We sure are. So we're looking into various
Avenues, if you will.
changes, avenues to what we could do, but it's still quite early. So one of the first steps that we already did, and that is getting ready, is getting more information about this event in the game. So we have analytics on this specific event. We have more control over the palettes now, and we're fixing some of the maps that had too many. But the reality is that this is just a partial fix, right? So the capsule could be a thing. So that's something that we looked at right now.
Yeah. But I don't believe it's the capsule. It would be more so the sensitivity difference between or how they're both played between first person and third person.
Yeah, exactly.
Which gives you more control as a survivor than you do as a killer.
Absolutely.
Sharper turns. And
Sharper
and
turns.
Such.
Absolutely. So I don't necessarily think it's the capsule personally. I do believe it's but I don't. I might be corrected by Louis or
Yeah.
Might be a bit of both.
Benoit. Yeah.
Could be.
Exactly.
And,
But that's usually what that is.
And the reason, I mean, if the capsule, what?
Picture.
Oh wait, I have to see it. Did you send it to
Yes.
me?
You have to look at it first.
So yeah, pallet looping is a great time waster for a lot of survivors,
Yeah.
and for that reason we are looking at that. Pretty much the main reason why we're looking to change it, and we know there seems to be a difference between safe and unsafe pallets, which gives you a lot more play versus not as much play. The not as much play is the unsafe pallets where you're going to get hit way more often, and you can't play the killer as much. So we're looking at those. We're taking a lot of this into consideration, and if you'd like to post anything, we'd be happy to try to read it and try to find a good solution for all this.
I have that screenshot. Let me look at it. Oh, interesting. Yeah, you can show it. Not that one. The other one.
Maybe he doesn't have the other one.
You don't have the other one? Okay, well, wait.
The numbers are. You might have seen numbers
I think
for
they
the
did.
size of the capsule. So if you go in Paint and draw something of that size,
It's on because we're asking the guy on the floor to send these screenshots to Bjorn to an account that they don't know the name of, so it's complicated. Okay, so it's coming. So our statement on pallet looping is yes, it is a time waster, and I want to make sure that these chases are not too long, and we want to make sure that the survivors fear the killer in this position, and that they get forced out of the chase. And not, these, again, time waster. We want to get rid of them. So we're looking into different avenues to fix it. Next question from Steam. Cold
Bjorn
trial.
says,
Oh, it's ready? Okay, let's look
sometime.
at the capsule.
So in terms of its width,
Yeah.
it looks like they're about the same.
they're about the same. I think they're slightly different.
You think? I'm not actually sure about that.
Well, it's
We just
shorter.
had the numbers.
So you guys on listening to the stream right now might remember that we did say, yes, capsule has changed for the survivor.
5%.
And we
10%.
talked about
Oh, shit.
the hit box, the hit capsule, which is not the same capsule as we use for locomotion. So this might have been confused. But the sharper turns and the sharper control of the survivor explains why well, they're so nimble and can get around these objects so easily.
And you might look at this and ask, why? Why are they so big, the capsules?
Why?
There's a couple of answers to that.
Tell me.
But I think for simplicity, we don't actually change the size of the capsule depending on the state of the survivor animation.
So whether
So the
it's crouching or
survivor could
standing.
be injured or standing or repairing or crouching or being in a
Vaulting? No, I guess it was.
vaulting, yeah, but the capsule's kind of disabled at that point. But dying on the ground and such, it's always the same capsule, so we kind of had to get an in-between of something that does not feel overly big when it comes to navigation and like standard walking animation, and doesn't feel too small when the character is down on the ground and could actually clip through objects.
It's actually way more fancy than just these capsules, but it gives you a good idea what's going on. All right, that's it. I hope that clarifies a little bit that subject. Cold Trial on Steam is asking, when will you release the black Left 4 Dead shirt?
We are looking into adding the support for this right now. In short, basically what happened is we tried to create that content fairly close to the release of the Left 4 Dead update to give you guys access to more cool things. Unfortunately, we didn't actually catch the fact that we had to do the job in the game to allow support for providing you guys with the black shirts if you are a member of the community. So we need to implement that in the game, which we don't have right now. We're trying to implement that obviously as a fairly high priority, but bug fixing and closing on the stuff we're currently doing is of higher priority right now. So hopefully you can get that in with the next major patch, but I don't want to promise anything with that right now because it's not necessarily the first priority we want to jump on.
Yeah. Now, no worries if you join the community now or in 2 weeks or whenever, you're gonna get that shirt, no problem. On Twitter, Perry Torinko is asking, why did self-care never get on the shrine? I got this question twice this week actually, and it's just like that. It's random. Sometimes random doesn't give you anything.
It gives usually sabotage.
Yeah, it happens. The rule of the shrine is that it's taken randomly, but the same perk should not appear if it appeared.
In the same month.
Yeah, if it appeared in the
Past
previous 3
3
weeks,
or
it won't get selected. So that's it.
It is purely random.
Yeah, right. Last Tourniquet is asking, with the teased weakened state for healing, won't it make using medkits pretty useless if you have self-care, and vice versa, since you won't be able to use both to heal yourself? On that same note, will syringe add-on bypass the weakened state? You want to answer that one?
I would love to. So, for the weakened mechanic, obviously a lot of things will have to change, including perks, even some achievements and items, just because the change is quite a shift in how things are working. We'd probably go for medkits. We'd probably look into faster speeds, I would think. The ability perhaps to remove the broken state or to give you extra stats of some sort or abilities while you have the broken state. As well as a syringe could potentially heal it. Why not? I think it's actually a pretty cool idea in general. So yeah, definitely we're going to change some stuff when it comes down to the new changes. Self-care is going to have to change. We'll make it has to change as well.
Yeah, quite a couple.
As strong as they were.
Quite a couple. It's actually quite exciting. Mathieu can talk to you about this more when he comes back because I don't have a lot of information. But players at PAX were able to test the weakened state. Some of them were new players, so they never got to see the difference. But some players were coming back and knew about the game already, and they did enjoy it. That's what Matt told me about. Now we can talk to you in details about that later. We've also seen all of the comments that you gave us on Reddit and on Steam. It was quite interesting. So we'll continue to play with it on our side, and when we're ready, it's going to go through PPB.
Awesome.
All right. Let's take a break for Q&A. If you want to go through the top 10, that'd be great.
Let's do that.
All right.
Bjorn, if you may. We're going to go through the top 10 for this week. From what I understood, we also did it last week.
I think we need an audio stinger for that.
I was thinking
not
about that too.
from you, but I think like
could have been from me. Top 10, 10, 10.
that's good. We got it. Every time you do that, you do this. Now.
As quiet as that? It's the worst stinger I've heard. Survivor would be great first, please. Yeah, that's what I thought. So, in the first position, same as last week, and I believe the week before, but I'm not exactly sure, Sprint Burst, 10.47%. It's actually dropped in usage from 11.23. Self-Care is at 9.19 in second, the same position as last as well. If you notice, we actually updated the doc, and the green arrows mean that it's actually increased in terms of its rank. The red arrows means it actually has decreased in terms of rank. So now you know the legend. You can actually see it at the bottom. Also cool. So Saboteur is at 6.1%, also down in terms of its usage. Lightweight is up, but still down in its usage. So everything seems to be getting used a little bit more in the lower end, which is quite interesting, which might be because of the perk rarity changes. We have Spine Chill down from 4, Premonition up from 5. Both of these have also reduced in its usage rate. Plunder's Instinct makes its way up from 8. It is at 479. It has actually increased in its usage rate. Iron Will up from 9. Adrenaline down from 7. And Bond is new on the list with increased usage rate. The other two lowered usage rate. So, do we have the top rank 1 Survivor perks?
Oh, interesting.
Because I heard that people wanted to see this. Do you have that? You don't have that.
What?
So, that's
No?
okay, because I'm just going to say them.
Okay, great.
You can drop the list if you wouldn't mind. Actually, can you keep it up? We're going to make a comparison here. You guys can just listen.
Well,
You
you're
guys
talking
can-
about top rank Survivor.
Yeah, so this is
Okay.
top rank 1 survivors that I'm going to be talking about now. And basically just going to tell you how they stand in comparison to the whole general population, which is what you see right now. So in first place, we have Self-Care at 15.78% usage, which is much higher. Sprint Burst as well at 15.68 in second, so not first, so they have actually switched. Iron Will is in the third position. As you see, it's an 8 for the grand population. Bond is in fifth. Iron Will was 9.11% usage, which is quite high as well. Bond was at 6.88 in fifth. Lightweight in sixth at 5. Actually, Bond was in fourth, sorry. Lightweight is in fifth. Adrenaline is in sixth. Balanced Landing is in seventh, which wasn't even on the list, actually. Botany Knowledge as well, not on the list for the general population. Decisive Strike, and finally, Plunderer's Instinct. So this is really cool. I like seeing these numbers. I like seeing the differences. And after the Twitch, I'll be happy to actually expose all of the all of the perks and their usage rates for this last 7 days. But it will be in like raw format, so if anyone would like to take it and make it nicer, that's up to you. So, Bjorn, if you wouldn't mind, killer top perks. Oh yes. So, the killer top perks. I actually have another page. Do I actually have it? Oh, yeah, I do.
So this hasn't changed at all.
It's really, really not. The only things that
One
have changed
swap.
is Nurse's Calling and Save the Best for Last, but it's just switch positions.
Sure.
Just to go through it really quickly, we've got Iron Grasp first. It has dropped in its usage rate from 10%. Brutal Strength is in 9.38 from like 78%. 9.78%. Unrelenting is still in the same position with a little bit more usage rate at 8%. Deerstalker is at 6.9 from 6.7. Whispers is there at 6.49, which has also dropped in usage rate. Nurse's Calling has increased a tiny little bit. Save the Best for Last has actually decreased. And No One Escapes Death, Agitation, and Shadowborn are all lowered in usage rate, but only slightly. Can we look at... No, we can't. So I'm going to tell you the killer top 10 perks for rank 1.
For rank 1.
Yes. So, you guys are following. Good luck. First place is Brutal Strength compared to Iron Grasp. These two have also switched places, as Iron Grasp is in second. Their usage rates are like 13.93% for Brutal Strength, 13.45% for Iron Grasp. It seems like our rank 1 players are much more focused on what they want and what they want to use.
It's a bit similar for the survivors too.
Absolutely.
So the meta at rank 1 is probably a little more
set.
a
if
little
you
more
will.
set than across all
Determined,
the
if you will.
ranks.
You got Deerstalker at 8.91%, Save the Best for Last at 8.25%, Nurse's Calling 7.92%, the only one with the percent, Whispers 6.99%, No One Escapes Death in 7th, and Enduring, Shadowborn, and finally Agitation taking up the end. Enduring wasn't on the list, and I believe that's it, actually. So, quite interesting for me,
Yeah, thanks,
I
man.
believe. Wow, pleasure.
So things that are going to change that, I'm pretty sure, is the hook repair, which is going to be a thing. That's going to appear when we can ship it. We're looking into some tiny modification they want to do to the feature here before we patch it. And with that, Iron Grasp is going to change.
Yes.
So this will change probably how it is used.
Yeah, and
or how
potentially
often it is
Agitation.
used.
We're not sure.
Which one?
Agitation.
Yes.
Yeah.
So this will change. Also, with the big patch that's coming at some point, we can't talk about date, but the next big patch will have also the status system. And in the status system, there is a status that is called Exhaustion. We have talked about it a little bit before. Exhaustion is a status that stops a survivor from using some perks, like Sprint Burst, for example. So it's a great way to balance stacking up perks that gives you a lot of speed. With that, we're reviewing some of the perks that use this, such as Balance Landing, such as Sprint Burst, and maybe others. And they will all cause exhaustion, and you won't be able to use them while you have exhaustion on.
Exactly.
That should be a big change for how players use
Absolutely.
these different perks.
Absolutely.
I also have a few other extra stats, if
Yeah,
you wouldn't mind.
go
I
ahead.
can hold them for later as well. But Bjorn, do you have any more photos by any chance? All right, so this is on me. In the last 7 days, I'd like to give you the all-population survivor extra stats for who has escaped the most. It is Claudette, 46.7%. In rank 1, it was also Claudette, but at 52.1%. So Claudettes have been escaping. Way to survive. Prior to this, Laurie was escaping the most at 47.8%. Jake was sacrificed the most. Poor guy. Dwight was sacrificed the most as rank 1, so it looks like there was a slight disparity between the two of you. I don't know what happened, but Dwight seemed to piss off rank 1s a little bit more. Might be the pizza. I'm not sure. Jake was sacrificed the most prior to that. So the general population does not like Jake, it seems. Bill was murdered the most, which is fun, because he just came out, so way to die. Nia was murdered the most at rank 1, so Nia players, I don't know what you're doing. And Dwight was murdered the most prior to this. I didn't actually get percentages, I'm sorry. Jake was bled out the most at 1.3%. Dwight was bled out the most in rank 1. And Laurie was bled out the most last week. So it just seems like that's just a free-for-all. Whoever doesn't seem to get up on their own. I guess Bill's not in there.
Huh.
Self-sufficient, I guess. So, a killer extra stats. Oh, no, sorry. And the camper favorite item was First Aid Kit. The favorite offering was the New Moon Bouquet at 12.21%. And prior to that, it was the Worn Out Toolbox and the New Moon Bouquet at 4.46%. So people seem to have gotten the lights working, or they feel like these offerings are good. I'm not sure. Let me know. Extra stats for the killers. The last 7 days, all population. Most played killer was the Trapper, 38.1%. Rank 1, also the Trapper, 30.44%. Prior, also the Trapper at 36.29%. This was followed by the Nurse, actually, for all population at 24.32%. Myers at rank 1 was actually the second most played at 17.47%, and Myers was prior to this also the most played. So that's pretty cool. Deadliest killer is a Trapper at 23%, followed by the Hillbilly for population. On rank 1, it's actually the Hillbilly, followed by the Trapper, so blow your mind. 19.1% to 18.7%. It was close. It was close.
So many stats.
So many stats.
Numbers.
So many numbers.
And then finally, the Trapper beat the Hillbilly in the prior stats for the general population. I'm not done. Weakest killer is the Nurse for the general population at 34.7%, followed by the Hag at 34.7%. Prior to that, the Hag at 34.7% was also at rank 1, so they both pretty much had the same. Prior, it was the Nurse who did 31.7%. On the general population, the Wraith was the second worst killer at 25.7%. Rank 1, it was the Nurse at 33.2%.
and prior to that it was the Hag at 24.4. Favorite offering, Ebony Mori. Obviously for killers it seems 20.43%, but at rank 1 you guys use the Full Moon Bouquet, followed by
Stay
the Ebony
classy.
Mori, but 13.85%. Let me know what's going on with those. And prior to that, it was the Ebony Mori, because you like to kill people, apparently everyone. So, oh no, wait, was it? Yeah, everyone. That's it.
Thanks, Steph.
There.
Welcome. Any
You
questions?
can review this video later in slow mo.
Watch it. Yes.
Oh, did I go too
very
fast?
slow-mo.
I apologize.
So you'll get the stats in slow mo, and you'll also see the pen in slow motion. So
I
you
didn't
can-
spin it.
It
Did I
is
spin it while I was
pretty
talking?
impressive.
I hope
all
not.
the way, all the way.
Damn.
Could spin the sausage instead.
Okay, more questions.
I'm not sure about that. That's too many pictures.
Squirrely Rat is asking more information about Light Shadowborn rework. Do you have this info with you? Lightborn, Shadowborn?
I wrote it somewhere. I read it. Alright, so Lightborn and Shadowborn. So you have adapted to Light. I'm glad I didn't write which one was which. That's not confusing. So for Lightborn, basically what happened was the numbers were a little screwed up. Prior to this, your vision was dimmed by 100% at tier 3. Even though it said something more about akin to like 20 or 10. Not the case. It was a lot more. We're actually reducing it to 35%, which is what is live at the moment. So it's actually less than it was before, so you're not taking that big of a hit, don't worry. We've also increased the recovery from blindness to 50% across the board for rank 1, 2, and 3, which is 5% higher than it was at tier 3. So that's pretty cool as well. It should make it more appealing in general as a perk. Let me know if there needs to be more stuff that's done to this, but I believe it should be at least a little bit more appealing to you guys. It also can be used in conjunction with Shadowborn, and they kind of nullify each other's effects, but gives you a little bit of a boost as a benefit, not actually as a negative. So you can try that out as well. Your vision is actually brighter by, it was also brighter by 100%, sorry, or vice versa than darker. Now it's actually going to be 35%, which is much better. We have a recovery time of 50% across the board instead of the 75% that was at max. And you get blinded 20, 25, and 30% faster, which is a big difference than before because it was 50%. So the negatives from Shadowborn have actually been reduced. The positives of Lightborn have actually been increased a little bit. And both negatives from both sides have actually been negated from one another. So if you want to try it out, please let me know. And eventually, it'd be amazing to have some kind of synergy between the two of them.
Yes.
So we'll see
that'd be
if we
great.
can do something of that for you guys. If you guys have an idea, post about it, please.
So these changes coming to the next big batch. 1.5.
Correct.
All right. Okay, Snowden Hero X is asking, why does borrowed time get activated and used when nobody is hit after you pull someone from the hook? So it actually activates when you get someone off the hook, not when you get hit. That's how the perk works.
Absolutely.
So that the borrowed time perk activates for you and also for the survivor you just rescued. So if you get hit afterwards in that time frame, you get the good effects of that perk. Melons is asking, any plan for perks that affect gen regression? Yes. Star Inferno is asking, is there an ETA for the next PTB? I want to try the changes. So PTB, well, you can answer that one.
Yeah. Obviously, we'd like to push as many PTBs as possible. The main issue, or the main complication, basically with it is there's a lot of things we would like to test on PTB on the equivalent of the build you guys are playing right now, but it's really difficult to bring over the changes from our Eternal build to that build. So the easiest time for us to do a PTB is either directly before a major batch or directly after a major batch, which we always attempt to do, at least for the before part. But we have to, when we get close to a patch, there is so many things we try to get in and make sure the stability is there that it's difficult for us to prepare for a PTB that would be coming shortly after that. So what usually happens is it takes us so much time to actually get to a point where a new mechanic can easily be put on a PTB that we can't do that. But we're trying to be a little better at that and give you more things to play with on the PTB.
I definitely want one after that big patch, next big patch that we do, because there's some things we need tested with you.
There's a lot of things we have had in the internal build
Yeah.
for the past.
Yeah, especially
month or
the weakened state and the killer attack. These changes, we've always said that it would go through a PTB before we get them live. So I really want this PTB to come out so that you can try it and comment on them. So Deadly Vanitas is asking what happened to the plan change on the Hag Nurse and Raid. We've talked about that. So hopefully these will be. Well, some of them are coming. No, not even. It will be after that big patch 1.5. No ETA on that. It's not allowed to talk about it. What are your opinion on palette looping? We did talk about this. What else do we have on that side? Oh, any plans? So, Lot is asking, any plans to keep the same Survive with Friend group after playing a game, so you don't have to re-invite every single time?
Absolutely. We actually had somebody assigned to that last week, but then we figured out that it was probably more intelligent to have that person look into why it's so long to get in the game, because why stay together if you can't get in the game together? So the focus is shifted to improving the general matchmaking flow aspect of getting into a single game with Survive with Friends, and from there the next step will be to work on the keeping the group bound together after finishing and completing a game, so that they can easily search for another game afterwards. It's definitely something we want to do to improve the usability of the functionality, but like I said, focusing on the base functionality first is of higher importance right now.
Achieve Hunter is asking, a few streams ago you mentioned 5 unused perks and ways to change them. When will you show us these changes? So we had prepared for today, but because we're running short on time, I will keep them for next week.
That's fair. I'm so excited.
Yeah, next week.
Can I just show them the pages?
Yeah, show the page.
On the
Look at
pages
all
of data.
these Page,
Read it.
it's beautiful.
I've written comments too.
Raindin is asking, do you look at community suggestions on new characters and perks ideas? Yes, we do. On Steam and Reddit, it's something that we like to do. Would be great to see community thought up killer in game. Might happen. What about a killer contest event? That'd be quite cool. Which makes me think that last week we kind of hinted that we would do a creation of character skins for existing killers, and that we would do that with the community, so that we could do through poll and not poll but polls, voting on which
Always gets confusing.
on the process and which one you'd like to see first and stuff like that. So this is something that we're going to start soon as well with you guys. It should be fun. That we answered.
Someone
That
asked if we were going to
kinda-
do crossplay.
With console?
Yeah.
It is something we've discussed often. At the current time, it's not planned to do that. There's a couple of reasons why we don't want to do that. One is we do not want to support mouse and keyboard on consoles, and we don't want the discrepancy of supporting crossplay with that being available. Another issue we have with crossplay is that it's usually difficult to keep the builds in sync on all platforms, and it's getting crossplay up and running is a lot of complexity for something that you're probably going to get only part of the year if the builds are drifting apart from each other. So we didn't deem it required to add the complexity to support crossplay. I wouldn't say it's something we completely put off the list right now, but it's definitely not something of a high priority for us as far as the console is concerned for the original release.
There you go. Thank you. Someone asked for, hey, don't we have a Around the Web this week? We don't. So without Matt here to do these kind of things and hunt the web for all of the images, we have work to do. So couldn't make it happen this week. There.
I also have another question. Can I ask?
Yeah, go ahead.
Someone else has a question. It's Diana6, I believe. It's CIX. Would you let players make items and let them sell them in the market? Is this something that we're interested in doing?
Yeah, we've talked about that before. It could happen. I personally, I think it would be great. It would need to be curated by us, that's for sure. We've already done that in the past just once. That Trapper mask that was made by a community member. It's awesome. We've integrated it in the game. So yeah, it might happen at some point. I'd like that. That'd be
Cool.
Slang Play is asking, when are we getting patched for controller sensitivity? Is there a way to tweak any configuration files?
We're working on the controller sensitivity right now. For console support, obviously, it's required for us. And since we're doing a lot of the UI and the gameplay mappings for that, we're actually working on the settings screen right now. And this is going to be taken into consideration as part of redoing the settings screen. So we're planning to push that out with the next major patch. So in 1.5.0,
1.5.
you should get a little more control on that.
Great. Can't wait for 1.5. Anything else in there? I don't think so.
I think
I've
you've
covered
covered
one
it.
other question.
Stop.
Yeah. Last one. Last question.
Traps under hooks. They're
Yeah.
asking when they're going to be gone.
Yeah.
Soon.
That's
no,
like
but seriously,
the worst
I want to do it
answer.
like for the next as soon as I possibly can, actually. So whenever we have the ability to code it in, it's definitely a decision that we've taken that we're going to actually stop being able to place traps directly under the camber, under the hook. Is that fair to say?
Yes.
All right.
Okay.
Sorry for the
There,
soon,
it has
guys.
been, there's been said.
Mm-hmm.
Okay, so we're excited to show something to you, something special. Just not now. Just I want to leave you with that thing. So just first off, I wanna do all the shenanigans I have to do usually. So
Go back
thank
to
you,
stuff
to the
and-
news. So thank you, Bjorn. I have too many sheets of paper. Thank you, Bjorn, for the Twitch. Thank you, Muds, for your swordplay. Thank you, everyone, for watching. If you're not already following, please do, so you know when we come online. So we went at PAX, it went great. Matt is going to talk to you about it next week. He's not there today because he is at South by Southwest. We might win another award there, which is exciting. Firecracker winners were announced here, so you'll get news from us soon. You are winning this awesome t-shirt. Not that
Can you
one.
do it again?
Not exactly that one. I mean, it is exactly that one, but not the one that Stefan's
If
wearing.
you want it worn
Worn?
if you want it worn by Steph,
I don't
we
know
can
what
make it happen.
No, don't go there.
Because it's gonna happen, you know it.
Mhm.
And what else? I have nothing else. That's it. So let's go with that exciting bit. So we were told not to show anything about the next chapter, but we kind of were too excited and wanted to start the hype right now about this new content. So we have one single screenshot that we want to show about the new map that's coming. And you can put it on. It is
What's
an
that?
interior map,
What?
and we'll leave it at that. There you go. So we're even finishing a little bit early today, so we can get 5 minutes more work time on
What?
this thing.
It's crazy.
All right. So see you next week. Have fun.